All right, everybody, welcome in. Welcome all. Once again, Madden Underground action right here. PS5 Pro League Wildcard round. We got a good game for you as we have Killuminati taking on Cal Bear. Jets versus Dolphins action. My name is Black Phoenix. I'm alongside Philly guy. Philly guy, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. So glad to have you with us on this call for some more playoff football for the Madden Underground PS5 League.
Yeah, very excited. And, we getting playoff rounds. You know how this goes. Either you win or you go home. So, the stakes are a little bit higher. And we've seen it, in the past when we called the game of the weeks between Calvert and Killuminati. Killuminati coming out on top right there. And this is when he had traded the Kansas City Chiefs for Travis Kelsey. And Kelsey came up extremely big for Killuminati in this game. So, Philly, if I was you, if you're Cal Bear, are you taking note of where Kelsey is at all times? Because last time he burned Cal Bear pretty bad. So I would imagine if he did his homework, Travis Kelsey shouldn't be as much of a problem.
Yeah, well, I have inside sources that have led me to believe that Cal Bear wasn't even aware, even after that game, that Travis Kelsey was on the New York Jets. So he seems to be aware of it now, was brought to his attention about 35 minutes ago. So it's going to be imperative that he try to put him in a box because if he doesn't, he's going to suffer defeat at the hands of the New York Jets again.
Yeah, and you don't want Illuminati taking your lunch money once again, especially in the playoffs. We've seen it in the other games yesterday where, some players they lose and they have intentions of quitting the league, unfortunately. But hopefully this doesn't happen with Cal Bear or Illuminati, whoever loses. But let's get started here again. Playoff implications here. PS5 Pro League wildcard round. Again, shout out to everybody coming through. If you guys haven't done so, man, wherever you're watching, hit that like button, subscribe button, follow button, whatever you're watching from. Make sure you come out and support Man in the Underground. As again, we're going to get started here in a little bit as we're waiting on the opening kick. And the kick is up, and we're going to go straight into the action here. And then we got a kick return going down to the 30-yard line or sorry, the 29-yard line. And let's talk about for a second here the Miami Dolphins here, Philly. So Miami last time had Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle, Amari Cooper, unable with all that speed, unable to really defeat Illuminati. And that's usually surprising. You see the Dolphins usually take off in a lot of leagues with these two speedsters. So can we expect the same thing, same strategy out of Cal Bear this time, or are we going to see a little bit different?
Well, I just want to go back to the point you made earlier. Cal Bear is a bit of an emotional player. In the past, we've actually seen him tap out a little bit early, and I think that with having all of that speed on both sides of the ball, like you're talking about, it's going to be imperative for him to get off to a good start because I can only imagine the frustration of not being able to move the ball with having that much talent out on the field.
Yeah, and again, all that talent, and again, came up short. Definitely frustrating. But let's see if Cal Bear has done his homework, has decided to actually, improve his game, go to the lab a little bit, see what he comes out in. So last time Cal Bear came out in this double stack formation where he had the two speedsters on both sides of the field, or sorry, on one side of the field. This
Mhm.
time coming out in a gun tight set, Illuminati coming out at 3-4 odd base defense. We've seen him in the past game of the weeks, or sorry, that we broadcasted. So let's see what happens here as we have Tua Tagovailoa under center, taking snaps and barking out the orders here. We got Jalen Waddle in motion here as we see this gun type formation turns a little bit of a gun bunch kind of set. And Tua barking out orders takes the snap right here, throws it to the flat. That's Jalen Waddle right there, and that's going to be a gain of 8. Gets out of bounds right there. It's going to create a 2nd and 2. And Jalen Waddle last time was dropping the ball everywhere, not keeping his feet at bounds, but that time off to a better start this time, Philly.
Yeah, I really like his decision. One of my favorite things about this formation, as we see more and more Madden players using it this year, is that when you motion that slot receiver across, he's pretty much a tight end. So you have a lot more hot routing options that are available, even if he isn't a superstar. And we saw Cal Bear take advantage of that in that situation.
And take advantage he is. And speaking of take advantage, that's going to be Chase Edmonds out there. Green grass, and there he goes. Going to get tackled down to the 14-yard line, and that's a huge play. Calvert not known for really running the ball too effectively, but that time with the halfback sweep out of all plays, able to get down to the 14-yard line for a big play right there, Philly.
Yeah, I mean, it was almost as if right on cue, and he's doing a really good job of taking advantage of both of those safeties of Illuminati being high. as we see him get the ball out here on this jailbreak screen and just get positive yards. And that's what he wants to do right now because he's in the driver's seat, and Killuminati has to respect all of the field that he has offensively.
Yeah, you see right there, jailbreak screen on his gun stack wide flex. That was the formation that Calvert used this time. Looks like looks to be switching the speedsters around, so that way they're not both on the same side of the field. And we're gonna see if that strategy actually works out for him as Tyreek Hill gets a good game for 6, not much doing after that. So the thing with Tyreek Hill this time is normally he would have like a grab and go or some type of shifty ability. Tyreek Hill this time having route tech and matchup nightmare. We've seen this combo that Dimes presented yesterday in the game of the week. And we'll see if that has the same results here for Cal Bear as he takes a sweep right there. Not much doing right there. 3rd and 2. Deciding to go a little bit hurry up tempo here. Surprising call right here. And let's see what he's going to come out in. This time looks like he's going back to that gun stack wide flex here. And looks like to be passing the ball. That threat detector is going off. That's that exclamation point as Tua takes the snap. Is going to run it and it's going to slide right there down to the 1-yard line. And interesting sequence of plays right there. I thought he was going to dive in right there, deciding to slide right there, Philly.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he hit that button a little prematurely. As we can see, he was going to cross that line of scrimmage, and hopefully that doesn't come back to bite him in the ass.
Yeah, and again, let's see what the play call is. Again, red zone is one of the toughest places to score. And if you can't get those 7s, you're going to be in very big trouble here as we see Cal Bear going back to the gun tie here. It looks like he's going to be running that halfback sweep play. Cooper in motion to the left, snaps it so he gets extra blocking. And that's going to be a touchdown right there. And that's going to be a touchdown for Cal Bear. Chase Edmonds on that halfback sweep once again, Philly. And Cal Bear's up 6-0 pending the field goal.
Yeah, I mean, he's definitely done a really good job. He's had a lot of big plays on this drive. Everything has been for positive yards. And that's what you want to do. You're on the road. You want to get out to a good start. And he's filling up his momentum meter. More importantly, he's leading by 7 in this game.
Kick is up and kick is good. And like you mentioned, the momentum meter is definitely one of the biggest factors, especially in the sea of film world. Let's see if it makes a big difference for Killuminati or Cal Bear, depending on how it goes, as Killuminati is going to take the knee inside of the end zone, not going to risk taking and kick return now. And let's talk about Killuminati again. You know, last time we seen these two play, we mentioned Travis Kelce before, a huge impact, even throwing into triple covers and coming down with it. Travis Kelce having that deep out elite. This time, not going with the deep out elite, Philly. Check this out. He's going with route apprentice and short end elite. So basically ditching the ag ability for a little bit shorter field. Does that change the strategy for Killuminati compared to being able to just chuck it up at will and just coming down with ags?
Oh, I definitely think it does. And I'm really interested to see how those adjustments play out in this game. So we don't know if this is part of the new offense that Killuminati has committed to in the second half of the season here, but I'm very curious to see how those combinations work, particularly knowing that he had success pushing the ball downfield with those ad catches.
Yeah, and again, Killuminati, last game we saw, he was in the LA Rams playbook going out that tight slots halfback weak formation. And again, like you mentioned, let's see if this combination changes things up for Killuminati as we're waiting to see what Killuminati decides to come out. And he's still rocking with the tight slots halfback weak, so the still same Killuminati doesn't change anything up here. And it looks like Cal Bear's coming out in that dollar defense, that dollar spinner defense that's so good this year. Let's see what Killuminati does, and he's going to be motioning some players around here, and that's going to be Breece Hall right there, and great moves right there, and that's going to be some green grass for Breece Hall as he gets a first down. Big play right there, down to the 45-yard line, and halfback counter right there. Not expected, but very effective for Breece Hall, and that's going to be a first down for Killuminati, Philly.
Yeah, it's amazing to see what you can actually do without abilities. And right there, you have to appreciate the user because there are no abilities on Breece Hall, and he was able to get the first down and a lot of yards on that first play.
Yeah, let's see if Breece Hall gets another carry, and he actually does right there. It makes a little bit of move, nice shifty stick work, like you mentioned. No abilities on Breece Hall, and that's going to be a 9-yard gain right there. Decided to go a little RPO action, so Killuminati looks like he's mixing it up time and time again against Cal Bears, employing a little bit different strategy than like we saw before, where he was just straight up throwing it to Kelce and agging it, Philly.
Yeah, and you can also see that there is another star on the field at the wide receiver position. So it's interesting to see Killuminati go away as he gets the ball to Braxton Berrios, who gets down to the 5-yard line. He really seems to be getting his non-ability players involved on this drive.
Yeah, and that might be an effective strategy because you think to yourself the non-ability players are not much of a factor, and Killuminati here is showing you that yeah, they're still on the field. So anybody that's on my field is going to be a factor. You better count out for them. That other star receiver that you mentioned, that's going to be Elijah Moore with his short end elite. So he has two receivers right now on the field with Kelsey and Elijah Moore with his short end ability. As Zach Wilson is going to stretch the ball here, and that time Michael Carter coming in to sub in for Brees Hall. Nothing doing right there out of the single back deuce close. And seems like Cal Bear's mixing it up a little bit with going with a little bit 3-3 instead of that dollar defense, Philly. So a little bit of a cat and mouse game with a little bit of chess.
Yeah, you like to see it. You got to imagine that he's going with the 3-3 because there's an extra tight end out on the field, and he's really a little bit more concerned about that run game. But he hasn't been able to do anything to slow it down just yet. We'll have to see what he can do right here.
And that's going to be a touchdown right there. Play action play. And looked like Elijah Moore just kind of froze for a little bit, but then was able to playmaker up the field. And that's going to be a touchdown Killuminati here as the game is going to be tied 7-7 pending this field goal. And the kick is up and the kick is good. So Philly, that was actually great execution in red zone right there. I thought, honestly, that Moore wasn't going to get the ball at all because he froze, but able to playmaker him up and go up for a big score right there to tie the game.
Yeah, very reminiscent of what we saw when Killuminati was playing his other playoff game with the Packers. We saw him do the exact same thing with Aaron Jones in a critical situation. And this time, Elijah Moore was able to catch it and get the touchdown.
Yeah, and that goes to show you, these guys are doing their homework as you love to see, and especially come playoff time, basically using things that other players have done and use it to their benefit. And that time, extremely effective for Killuminati as Cal Bear comes back out once again in this gun spread offense. Looks like he is in the Tampa Bay Buccaneers playbook as we see Waddle in motion right there in the slot where they're creating kind of a trips look. And let's see what Cal Bear can cook up right here as Tua Tagovailoa is going to take the snap right here. Is going to chuck it up, and there he goes. That's going to be a completion. Tyreek Hill beating his man in a foot race, and that's not going to do it for you playing Tyreek Hill one-on-one. That's going to be a touchdown for Cal Bear, 13-7, Philly. Great play right there.
I know a lot of people may be wondering, how does that even happen? Killuminati's in cover 4. He's got both safeties back. He's playing off the ball. And one of the things you have to understand is that those strong safeties, usually the ones that are going to be on the right-hand side of the field, for whatever reason, they don't always play that deep ball. So Killuminati is going to have to either user that player or he's going to have to make another adjustment because it was too easy for Cal Bear to score right there.
Yeah, and another thing that we want to kind of talk about too, that free-form passing mechanic that's brand new to Madden 23 this year, able to not only throw it where Tyreek Hill had to step, but a little bit even more further so Tyreek Hill can even catch it in stride for an easy score right there. And Space in the chat mentioned a perfect point right there. Quarters won't play that, and it needs to be palm. So maybe, hopefully, Killuminati can take advantage of that for the next go-round. But Killuminati coming back out with a tight slots, halfback weak formation again. Was very effective moving the ball up and down the field. Let's see if he can replicate that same success on this particular drive as we see Zach Wilson. Zach Wilson actually does have abilities on him. That's going to be safety valve and tight out. So basically, anytime he throws to his running back and or Kelsey, it's going to be a higher completion percentage as he tries to go with Brees Hall. Nothing doing right there. 3rd and 4, Philly. Cal Bear standing up right there on defense.
Yeah, he's definitely tightening up on defense. And I want to give a quick shout out to Space, who we saw play with the Vikings, and he's putting some of that knowledge out there in the chat, letting you know that quarters and palms are two different defenses. So even though they look the same, they actually play differently. And he even went the extra mile to let you know that palms is not found in the 3-4 odd as we see these Miami Dolphins force a turnover. And that's disastrous for Killuminati right now, considering the way he has given up 14 points in the first quarter alone.
Yeah, and then speaking of which, we're in the second quarter right now. Yeah, that was a bad turnover. Again, tried to make some magic happen with Zach Wilson, and that's why you had to implement that slide mechanic that we saw Cal Bear do on accident, I assume. Zach Wilson taking those hits, and if you take those hits with your quarterback, you are bound to fumble, even if you have Lamar Jackson and kind of like a trust ability. That time, Zach Wilson able to call, or basically coupling up the rock right here as we see Killuminati taking great advantage of this field position, hopefully able to do something with it as we go to the gun tight formation, and it's going to motion this tight end over to the left side, and that's going to be another sweet play for Chase Edmonds. And Chase Edmonds going to get a great block right there. Almost made a defender miss down to the 27-yard line. Gain of 9 right there. Deciding to go a little bit up tempo here. Let's see what the play call decides to be as he's going back to that gun stack Y flex formation here that he was using all game last time these two played. Let's see if that makes a difference. And then deciding to go back to the gun spread right here. Let's see what the play call is. Motioning McBride over to the left side, and that's going to be a run play for Chase Edmonds. Good hard cut, but not enough right there. 3rd and 1, and that's a great defense, by the way, for Killuminati right there in his Jets.
Yeah, and I still want to tip my hat though to Cal Bear. I'm liking these formations. He's really giving Killuminati a lot to think about with all that speed. He's doing stack, he's doing spread, he's motioning over to trips, and he's really giving his receivers a lot of space to play with and giving his running back opportunities on the ground.
Yeah, and you see Tua Tagovailoa, speaking of changes, and he's going to throw one up, and that's going to be another touchdown for Cal Bear right there, as Tyreek Hill is having himself a game right there. And 101, you're not going to cover Tyreek Hill like that, and that's just too easy. Pitch and catch right there for the Miami Dolphins right there, Philly.
Yeah, it's one of those little adjustments that I make when I play with the Jets. I make sure that Sauce Gardner is on the same side in those types of situations so that he can actually make a play using that 6'3" frame. And unfortunately, we saw there, Tyreek got behind the secondary, and it was an easy pitch and catch, like you said.
Yeah, great throw once again by Tua Tagovailoa. And Tua, by the way, for those that are wondering what abilities he has quick draw, no look dead eye, and anchored extender. So again, nothing too crazy, but again, making very effective use of the passing game right now as we see Tyreek Hill just burn defenders left and right. And that's what you normally are used to seeing with these Miami Dolphins players this year in franchise, as we see Killuminati this time going with his own ground game with Breece Hall. Nothing doing right there. 2nd and 9 right there against this zero blitz. Doesn't call spinner, but made slight adjustments and calling zero blitz right there, Philly.
Yeah, and that's a really good adjustment because in the event that Killuminati was passing, the running back and both receivers on the right were at least going to be manned up. So no one was going to be out of position, and it was just up to him to decide who he wanted to cover with the user.
We see Zach Wilson motioning over receiver right there as he's going to hand it off another time to Breece Hall. Breece Hall breaking the tackle right there. That was almost a big hit stick right there, and that's going to be a first down. Going with the quick base. This is what we usually accustomed to seeing with Killuminati. More halfback quick bases than more of these RPO zone reads that he's been trying to implement right there, Philly.
Yeah, and we wondered aloud what was going to happen with Cal Bear's defense and making any adjustments to try to consider taking Travis Kelce out. And right now, Kelce doesn't have a catch. So I don't know if this is by design or if this is based off of Cal Bear's defense, but it's definitely worth pointing out that Travis Kelce has not had an impact on this game yet.
Yeah, and that's actually a very good observation because, we haven't called Kelsey's name at all until now. So very ironic timing that we said that, and he shows up right there, able to make a first down play right there. But even still with that catch, again, last time Kelce had with that deep out ability, was able to just go up the field and just ag it all the time. Again, changing it up to shorter lead. I'm actually kind of curious to see if that comes back and bites him for changing Kelce's abilities up, as we're going to see Zach Wilson complete a catch. That's Braxton Berrios. Again, had a big play, a big reception earlier in Killuminati's drive, but this time able to make a short completion and a good game for 6 right there, Philly.
Yeah, and that's what you want to see. You want to see, making good reads because Cal Bear adjusted. He knew that the running back was going to have the step on the defender. He covered it, and Killuminati made the right read, got Braxton Berrios underneath for the 6-yard completion.
And looks like Cal Bear, again, maintaining this dollar defense. Looks like a cover 6. That's going to be cover 2 to one side, cover 4 to another side, as that's going to be a delay of game right there. Big mistake right there. That's going to end up being a 2nd and 9, coming off a 2nd and 4 right there. And again, we talked about penalties and how penalties can really kill a drive and just kill all the momentum. Is that going to be a possibility, for Killuminati, Philly, or do you think he'll be okay off that?
You know what? I think it's going to be problematic simply for the fact that even though he got some positive yards there, he's still up against the clock. It's 3rd and 8, and he hasn't really been able to get into the rhythm that we saw on his first drive. And so I think he may start pressing a little bit because Cal Bear has been able to score so quickly against his defense.
Yeah, and let's see again how that's going to affect them going forward here as we have a 3rd and 8 again, one of the bigger plays in this game. Let's see what Killuminati can do on offense. Once again, Zach Wilson not having any kind of dead-eye abilities, only safety valve and tight out. Once again, those are only effective if you throw specifically to your running back and or tight end, but not to anybody on his receiving core right there. As we're going to see him barking out some commands right here, making some adjustments, changing protections, hot routes, all that good stuff as receiver motions. And let's see what Zach Wilson decides to throw. Is going to be a covers right there, and that's going to be intercepted right there as Noah is going to make a pick on that. I'm not going to say his last name. I'm not going to butcher it. I'm not going to disrespect him like that. But great play from Cal Barrett's defense. And Cal Barrett has turned this whole entire game around compared to the last game, Philly.
Yeah, it's unbelievable to see the adjustments that he's made. He's really done his work. He talked about it in the chat. He said he wanted to point fingers at their Week 18 matchup. But what I know from playing against these Dolphins is how much speed he has in that secondary. And it looks like Cal Bear baited him, and he guessed incorrectly. Cal Bear forced a turnover, and he's in position to take control of this game even before we get to the end of the second half.
Yeah, and let's see if that actually happens. And that's actually Josh Jacobs who scored earlier for Cal Bear and not Chase Edmonds. So I apologize on that one. But regardless, here we go. 2nd and 2 right here. Minute 24 and ticking down as we see Cal Bear making some adjustments in this gun tight. We've seen this out of Assassin yesterday, going with the corner route. And that's actually the same kind of corner route that Assassin kind of got down the field with. And that's actually going to be almost a touchdown right there. Big play, Tyreek Hill, man. Having himself a day. I mentioned it before, but this is just unbelievable. He is absolutely cooking with some gas right there, down to the 3-yard line right there, Philly.
Yeah, you see him breaking out all the dance moves. And I'm sure some of you saw the check down on that out route underneath, but Cal Bear knew that if he held onto the ball for a split second more, he was going to find Tyreek Hill open down the field.
And let's see what he calls in the red zone. That's Josh Jacobs right there. And Josh Jacobs is actually going to fall for it, and that's going to be a touchdown. Cal Bear, 27-7. And Philly, this game is getting ugly for Killuminati. I thought this was going to be way closer to that. Cal Bear doing his homework, doing his film study right there. As you see, it's paying off big time right here in this playoff matchup.
Yeah, and I just want to bring up that same point that Space had mentioned in the chat, and he was talking about the differences between cover 4 quarters and cover 4 palms. And every time that we've seen Killuminati call cover 4 quarters, he's given up a big play in the passing game.
Yeah, and again, you guys might want to get smart. For those that are watching right now, you got to get smart on the difference between palms and quarters. It may look the same, but the mechanics of both of those plays are completely different. Go in the lab and go test them out. You'll see what I mean right there. As we're going to see Killuminati with 33 seconds left to go in the first half right here. All 3 timeouts, so he can still make some kind of magic happen, get some kind of points right here. Can't afford another pick as we see Zach Wilson taking the snap right here. That's going to be a sack, and down goes Wilson. That's going to be Melvin Ingram right there, making a huge sack right there, and there goes the first timeout right there, Philly.
Yeah, you have to wonder, when we were watching that play develop, it looked like the middle of the field and the seams were open, but then we saw the receiver break to the outside on a corner route. And unfortunately, he rolled into the defense, and they were able to make the play. He's looking at 2nd and 18, and I don't like where he is on the field, and I don't like the position he's put himself into.
Yeah, in a position indeed, as he's going to make a completion right there, and that's Elijah Moore. Stays in bounds though, so he has to burn another timeout. But that was a big play needed to keep the drive alive after taking that big sack by Melvin Ingram. And that's going to be a first down for Zach Wilson as 20 seconds are left in the first half. And Zach Wilson going to make a play make a pass into traffic, almost intercepted right there. Thought that was going to be picked off. Ends up being an early breakup. And that momentum factor is coming in right there. You see that zoned out enabled. And that might make a difference right there for Cal Bear, Philly.
Oh, it's definitely going to make a difference. And that's the last thing that you want with this Miami defense, is them getting any more favors. I mean, they already have enough speed as it is. We already know how talented that secondary is. And Killuminati needs to be careful, because he could also throw himself out of the game in these next 14 seconds.
Yeah, and you don't want to force it right here again. Many games are won and lost in the first half alone. Again, I know Killuminati is down 21, but you don't want to add insult to injury right here as we see Zach Wilson making some more hot routes right here as we're going to go play action play right there. Decides to throw the corner, threw a little bit too early right there and almost picked off once again. And that's going to be 7 seconds left with 3rd and 10. And like you mentioned, Philly, don't want to throw yourself out of the game, but really making some risky passes right there. That could have been that's twice now that he could have been picked off.
Yeah, and the last time we were actually had an opportunity to watch the two of them play, I mean, the man that just got the ball right there on the quick out for the flats, Travis Kelce was catching those same routes in triple coverage. And we're not seeing any of that today. Like you said, he's already changed the abilities, and he really has not had an impact on this game at all.
Yeah, and again, 4th and 8. I'm sorry, 4th and 6. Going to go prevent defense for Calvert, and again, going to just maybe chuck one up and see if he can come down with it. Again, unfortunately, with no abilities like deep out, not the greatest chance to come down with it, but we're going to see as he throws it to Elijah Moore. Nothing doing right there. And that's going to end the first half of Madden Underground PS5 Pro League action right there. Cal Bear absolutely dominated Killuminati. We didn't see this last game. And again, we see the adjustments by Cal Bear time and time again. As you see right there on the screen, Tyreek Hill making play after play after play for big plays, big chunk yards, and touchdowns. What did you like out of Cal Bear's strategy so far besides Tyreek Hill? Are you enjoying the mix-up variety that he's showing us in this game compared to the past, Philly? Or is it something else that you're really enjoying about Cal Bear's game?
No, I absolutely love it. The balance that he's showing. He simplified a lot of his plays. There seems to be a little bit more structure in what he's doing. So when he's motioning different players, he's giving himself the options of running the football or passing the football. And right now, Killuminati doesn't know which one it's going to be. So excellent job by Cal Bear. And I just got to give him credit where credit's due. He's come to play, and it's showing on the field.
Yeah, it definitely came to play right there, man. You can definitely tell again, you could tell that lab work and preparation for this matchup definitely paying off right there as Killuminati took the ball out with Braxton Berrios gone to the 14-yard line. Not the best decision right there as Killuminati is going to throw the ball up and almost catches that for a touchdown right there off the tip pass, but unfortunately not able to do it. And as we are seeing right now, Killuminati very, very just forcing it. He's really, really pressing right now, Philly. And again, you don't want to throw yourself out the game, but again, got to make better reads and smarter reads than that.
Yeah, he's definitely feeling the pressure. And shout out to EA for actually making that small adjustment in the passing game where the receiver is typically not going to be able to catch that tip pass and take it in for a touchdown. So Cal Bear's defense standing tall again and forcing Killuminati to have to take his time moving the ball down the field. And that's really the only option that he has right now is to continue to run this football and avoid trying to launch the ball into triple coverage, especially with Kelce not having that deep out elite.
Yeah, and again, we're seeing it firsthand how much abilities, change the strategy and obviously can change the result of a game just like that. And again, Cal Bear's defense in this dollar cover 6 show 4, once again playing a little bit more match style, able to make huge plays against Killuminati's run game. So Cal Bear's been doing his homework, able to make those type of plays as we see Zach Wilson making some hot routes once again, and he's going to throw it, and that's going to be a drop pass right there, 3rd and 9, and you can't afford to drop these passes. You need everything that you can get if you're Killuminati, especially down 21 with only 4 minutes and 35 seconds left in the third quarter right there, Philly.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And we talked about getting the ball and getting it to players that don't have abilities, but you got to give them a little bit more separation. Otherwise, it's going to be a little bit harder for them to make those type of tough catches coming across the middle.
And as you see, trying to make those adjustments right there, that's going to be another sack right there. And that's going to be Emmanuel Ogba coming in with a sack right there. 4th and 13 right there. And something that's interesting that I got to point out, though, Philly, Cal Bear decided to go with Xavier Howard, using him on that left side of the screen, potentially taking away some routes that Killuminati may want to throw. That's actually interesting. You don't see that hardly ever out of a player deciding to go with using the corner instead of a linebacker or safety.
Yeah, you really got to give him credit for having that versatility of understanding as we see him throw the ball straight to the defender. And Zach Wilson is known for this. So I don't want to put all of that on Killuminati. Zach Wilson does have some traits. He's definitely paranoid under pressure, but he will definitely throw the ball to the other team if you are not getting him into a good rhythm, just like he did there. But I think that specifically for Killuminati, he got a little bit greedy on the down beforehand, and he missed his receiver coming across the middle, and he could have had an easy completion for a first down and possibly avoided the turnover that we just saw.
And shout out to B Guard in the chat saying Cal looks dialed in. Definitely, I highly agree 100%. Cal is extremely dialed in. This is kind of what I was hoping that I would see out of Cal last game, but this time turning it up right there as he's going to make a great completion right there. Tua Tagovailoa having himself a great day on the air right now as he's going to go a little up tempo, which is interesting. You're up 21, so I don't understand why you're going up tempo, but maybe he wants to pour a little bit of water onto Killuminati. He's trying to drown them. So yes, that is stack wide flex that he originated from. Went to gun tight, tried to go with a little bit of a counter, or sorry, a sweep, cuts it back, and Chase Edmonds not able to make nothing do him right there on the ground. But what's interesting, Philly, is again, you kind of mentioned somebody on the podcast, Jay Douglas, aka Memphis Doug. Very business-like, get in, get out. Shoot the clock, and then not have your opponent not have any time to move the ball. But Cal Bear going a little bit more up tempo, which is kind of odd.
Yeah, I talked about it a little bit in the opener. He's an emotional player, and sometimes they can get the best of him. He's definitely very happy with what he's doing right now. And, sometimes you just have to ignore what's going on in the chat and just understand that the most important thing that you can do is get a win in this situation, and that you don't need to do anything else. And if you do, you may find yourself allowing your opponent to get back in this game.
Yeah, and that's on Tyreek Hill once again, just absolutely balling out of control right there for another touchdown. I think that's 3 or 4 at this point for Tyreek Hill. So somebody please cover Tyreek Hill because he's absolutely torching Killuminati's defense right there. So 35-7. I want to say it's pretty much GG's off this one, but again, we're going to see this one all the way through as we get a shout out to Snoop for the underdog victory in Madden Underground Ps5 yesterday. So again, big shout outs to Snoop. As we see Killuminati coming out on offense once again, not having the best day. Again, Kelsey hasn't been much of a factor. Elijah Moore had one great play, hasn't been much of a factor either. And then Breece Hall not really doing much after he had a strong first quarter. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of adjustments, if any, that Killuminati decides to make here, as we're going to see Zach Wilson take another snap right here and throws it right into traffic right there. It's not how you made your living right there. And that's going to be a second 8, only 2-yard gain right there, Philly.
Yeah, and you talked about it earlier, but a lot of these rematches that we've seen, unfortunately, they weren't as competitive as they were the first time. So we've seen a lot of blowouts in some of these playoff rematches. I know B-Guard had an opportunity to play Honcho earlier. That didn't go as well as he would have liked it to. But shout out to him for even making the playoffs to begin with. And then for everybody else, when we saw some of these game of the week rematches, specifically the Woody and VA Dime situation, we saw a lot of players make those little adjustments like Cal Bear's doing, and they paid big dividends when it mattered the most.
Yeah, definitely. Again, like you said, there was a lot of rematches. Again, you mentioned the B-Guard Huntsville rematch. We had the Dimes Bronco rematch, Dimes wide receiver Woody rematch, and those weren't the closest games except for the B-Guard one. But again, that goes to show you, again, who prepares and who doesn't, as we see Zach Wilson take a 7-yard gain on the ground, this time not fumbling. So 2nd and 3 right there for Killuminati. And again, like you mentioned, those are the small differences. If you take your time to go back to the film or, really study your opponent, those can lead to win and losses. As we see Cal Bear extremely locked in. Thought that was going to be picked off, not going to lie there. But that's going to be a first down once again to Elijah Moore coming over the middle. As he's been kind of open almost all game, honestly. But a great read once again by Killuminati. We're going to be coming close to the fourth quarter with 10 seconds left to go before we hit that point and see if Killuminati gets the snap off before he does. So Zach Wilson, and that's going to be a interception right there. But that might be PI, and that is going to be PI. So Xavier Howard, that Cal Bears user, again, that's great, but you don't want to PI your or do any kind of PI towards your receiver, and that's going to pretty much cost him right there. And so I'm just kind of curious again. Tyreek Hill has been absolutely dominating this matchup, and again, it doesn't seem like Killuminati has any answers once Cal Bear gets the ball back here. Uh, Again, Philly, I think this is pretty much GG's. I don't know what say you, but again, Killuminati not having his best game on offense and or defense in this one.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, we're going to see this thing all the way through. Some people may be surprised to see pass interference in the game. It's pretty much been in the game, but again, EA has these different spots where it picks and chooses where it wants to be effective, and so Kyle Bear got a little bit aggressive, but he was definitely in position to make the play. And like you said, he did his homework, so he kind of knew where the ball was going. And it's just going to be important for Killuminati to be able to punch it in so he can give himself an opportunity for possibly an onside kick.
Yeah, and that's pretty much there's pretty much no choice in that. You got to onside kick it pretty much all the time here. As we're going to see him go goal line here, see if he can probably quarterback sneak it or maybe even fullback dive it across the end zone and punch it in. It looks like Cal Bear's coming out in this 4-3 over, which is interesting. No goal line to see if he can maybe stop what's going on with Killuminati here. As Zach Wilson is going to punch it in right there for a touchdown. Killuminati, touchdown New York Jets. And the score is a little bit closer, 35-14. But again, Killuminati has a lot of work to do in order to pull himself even close to being back in this game, Philly.
Yeah, and one of the things that we've heard people talk about in the chat is about, oh, this person's getting flooded and that person's getting flooded. And right now, you want to hope that Cal Bear tunes out the noise and recognizes that he's got 5 minutes and 39 seconds left to go to close this game out, and he does not need to do anything that gives Killuminati a chance to get back in this game.
Yeah, I wholly agree with you right there. And again, if you're Cal Bear, just run the ball. Again, you got great field position off the onside kick. You can chew the clock here. There's no shame in it. You're already up. Once again, 21 points right here. So there's no need to really pass the ball at all and give Killuminati any kind of life right here, as we're going to see a Josh Jacobs run go for negative yards right there. Second and 14. But again, this is what you need to do if you're up 21 points. Don't try to pass the ball, pad the stats, do anything like that. Just take your win and go home and get ready for the next round here, as we see gun stack wide flex once again with looks like Cooper in motion or Tyreek Hill in motion right there. Sorry, that's Jalen Waddle. And Tua Tonga Valoa going to make some commands right here. Looks like he's going to pass the ball. So again, ignore my advice. So let's see what happens here as the time's going to tick down all the way to 9 seconds before he snaps right here. And looks like Tua's going to throw the ball away, stopping the time. So if you're Killuminati, that's definitely a win right there, Philly. Even though, albeit a small win, but still a win nonetheless.
No, it was definitely a win. I mean, one of the things that we've seen from Cal Bear in the first half was him using those formations to create one-on-one situations with that Jet secondary, but then he would put a receiver in motion like he would here, and then he would run the ball. So he needs to get back doing to that. There's no reason for him to even to attempt throwing a pass right now. You want that clock to continue moving. And, this play could be disastrous as Killuminati's defender is in position. He doesn't make the play, but it's still an incomplete pass. And Cal Bear hopefully does the wise thing and punts the ball here.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to punt the ball here. Again, very questionable, borderline suspect clock management right there, as we see, again, 2 passes right there. No need to pass the ball at all. So maybe if you're, Cal Bear's opponent going into this next round, you're maybe taking note of that, the clock management skills are not the greatest right there, as Killuminati gets the ball back. So Killuminati does have a chance. Again, you got 4 minutes. You have plenty of time. You have 3 timeouts on your side. Again, hasn't had the greatest day in terms of passing the ball with Zach Wilson. But again, all he needs is some big plays. And he's, again, I wouldn't say he's completely back, but a little bit closer than he was before, as we see a pass in the flat right there going for 9 yards right there, Philly. So if you're Killuminati, are you calling your best plays to go all the way downfield, or like what's the play right here? Because I imagine Kelsey's got to be called at some point, right?
Well, yeah, you'd like to think that he would do that as we see him get the ball out here down the field right on cue, and he's able to get out of bounds. But, you have to really look at this situation. He did an onside kick, didn't get it, but he forced Cal Bear into a punt, and now he's in, a great position, moving the ball down the field, getting the ball to Kelsey in order to be able to put some more points on the board. So he's actually getting into a little bit of a rhythm. He's making some good decisions, and the clock stops every time it's an incomplete pass. So he actually has more of an opportunity to make this game interesting if he's able to punch it in for 6 here.
Yeah, Beegard and chat saying Cal has it as long as he doesn't give up a quick score. I agree with you, but again that's still bad clock management by Cal Bear. As Cal Bear's defense comes in, that's gonna be Jordan Phillips coming in. Sorry, Jalen Phillips coming in with a sack right there, and that's 3 sacks on the day for this Miami Dolphins defense, and that's not what you need if you are Killuminati and the Jets right there, Philly. You definitely need more than just going backwards. You need to move the ball forward.
Absolutely do. And we already know that he's been in fourth down territory mode since the start of the second half. So you'd like to see him do a little bit more of this, getting outside of the pocket, getting the ball to Elijah Moore. Like you said, he's been open pretty much the entire game. And he's got a chance to score here before the 3 minute mark if he makes his reads.
Yeah, let's see if he can make those reads as Elijah Moore once again tries to go one-on-one right there and nothing doing. You're going to need a little bit of maybe a deep end lead, not a short end lead for that one, as this is going to be 2nd and 10 right now. 3 minutes exactly on the dot left in this game. Again, put your fours up in the chat. Thank you guys for coming out so much. We appreciate you guys. As Zach Wilson's going to take another snap right here soon. Looks like a bunch halfback strong look. So turning off that match coverage for those that don't know, as that's going to be kind of not where you want it to be if you're Killuminati right there, 3rd and 10 right there, Philly. Not a good pass at all.
Yeah, not at all. I mean, we saw Zach Wilson run into his center, and that really caused the error and throw. But again, the clock stops on a pass. Only 3 seconds has passed in these last two downs, so he's going to need a big play, and he needs to get the first down just as much as he needs to get the touchdown.
Then you see him going to the split wide receiver backfield again, running that LA Rams playbook as he has a streak right up the seam, doesn't throw it. Let's see what he decides to do. Runs into his offensive lineman, and that's going to cost him right there. That's going to be Agba coming in with the 2nd sack of the day. 4 sacks for this Miami Dolphins defense, and there's only 3 rushers right now, Philly. So again, you can't be moving backwards, got to be moving forward, but definitely extremely frustrating right now if you're Illuminati.
Yeah, it was definitely a lot of coverage. Nobody was open down the field. So it looks like Cal Bear is locking in. He's not playing with his food anymore. And that's really hard to do with all the speed you have on both sides of the ball for this Miami Dolphins defense.
Yeah, and again, 4th and 12. Again, this is pretty much the game right here. Has had another pass thrown, fails it, and that's going to be a turnover on downs. And I'm fairly confident that we can officially call this GG's. I don't know about you, Philly, but I think this one is definitely sealed and over with.
Well, you know what? I hope not, but it's so tempting when you have so much speed like Cal Bear does on this Miami Dolphins offense to just try to get the ball out there and just air it up. But he has to play smart now, not conservative. He just has to play smart so that he can walk away with a victory and move on to the divisional round.
Yeah, and I agree. And again, you see him coming out in this pistol bunch tight end. It's a little bit of a throwback for those that played Madden in the early 2010s era. But that's going to bring us to the 2-minute warning right now. Again, 4th quarter, Madden Underground PS5 Pro League Wildcard round, Killuminati versus Cal Bear. And Cal Bear absolutely dominating this one. Again, we're going to hopefully see Cal Bear run the ball, have a little bit better clock management this time as he is going to run the ball. And that's going to be Josh Jacobs down to the 31-yard line. That's going to be 3rd and inches right there. So again, doing a great job this time of clock management. Maybe he actually heard our advice, somehow, some way. So doing a better job this time, trying to basically get up out of here, Philly.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that you want to do when you're locked in these playoff games. You want to stay out of the chat. So if he is listening to us or he's reading anything that anybody is putting out there, like BGuard21 in the chat, then he's not focused. But it looks like he's going to be able to walk away with a victory here. And congratulations to him and these Dolphins. He made all the big plays and all the adjustments that he needed to win this game.
Yeah, and I agree. Again, executing it very well with the Tampa Bay Bucks playbook. Again, as he throws it right there, and that's going to be first down right there with McBride. It stays in bounds, so that way the clock keeps moving right there. And looks like he's going to take the victory formation. Maybe thinks about it. Yeah, he's going to go with the victory formation right there. So looks like that might be the final score right here, 35-14. Cal Bear taking it over Killuminati once again. And again, we talked about it earlier so many times, making those little adjustments right there. We saw him in the chat point to his earlier loss right there, able to correct that and make a statement win. That to me is a statement win over Killuminati, and looks like Killuminati's not going to take timeouts, which is good. We can just get up out of here for this game. But let me get your thoughts, Philly, on both sides, both players right here. Again, let's start off with Killuminati. Obviously, we talked about it. The abilities making a huge difference right there with Travis Kelce not having the deep out elite, going more with the short end elite, and we didn't barely even call his name at hardly ever in this broadcast.
Yeah, and I think that's the biggest point for me is you make the trade. You traded Garrett Wilson so that you could get Travis Kelce for games like this, for moments like this. And the fact that he did get him incorporated into the offense, that's inexcusable to me. There's no reason for him not to do that. Killuminati is too good of a player to, give Travis Kelce the stat line that he doesn't deserve in such a meaningful game.
Yeah, he must be listening to the chat right there because you see Travis Kelce only 50 yards, 4 receptions during this game. So he's definitely locked into the chat hearing us talk about him. But you see Cal Bear actually in the chat. Shout out to you, Cal Bear. Good win right there. Very pumped up. Again, congratulations.
Smoking on that Jets pack. Smoking on that Jets pack.
Ooh. I love it, man. That's what I love about this league. You guys see it's very competitive in this league. You see it in the Ps5 chat. You see it in the Xbox chat. Guys get after it. When they win, they let you know about it, especially in big games right there. So, again, shout out to Cal Bear. Brian James, what you think about that game?
So, well, here's the first thing I got to say, B. James. You taught us to take a look at that audio mixer, and I got to ask you, have you unmuted yourself so that the people can hear what you have to say?
No, I didn't. Thank you, Philly. Yeah. I was saying Cal Bear is smoking on that Jets pack, and shout out to him for doing this thing. And, great game. Killuminati had him beat during the year, I guess, but he showed he beat him when it mattered most, So, great game.
Yeah, and before we get out of here, Philly, let's talk about Cal Bear again, making those small adjustments as we talked about again, changing it up, going to the lab. Looks like he did his homework right there. So very impressive, honestly, from an offensive standpoint from Cal Bear and on defense too.
Yeah, you got to give credit where credit is due. He was kind enough to show us the number of catches and yardage that Travis Kelce had in that game. And even though his defense was outstanding, I still have to tip my cap to Killuminati for not getting Travis Kelce involved, having the wrong abilities on him, particularly when we saw how dominant Kelce was in that first matchup. So, again, you can't pay attention to all the noise going on around you. If it ain't broke, don't fix. And it looks like Killuminati made some poor choices that Cal Bear was able to take advantage of.
Yeah, and again, Cal Bear moving on to the next round. Congratulations to him. Killuminati being sent to spectator mode for this particular league. So hopefully we get to see him come back stronger than ever next year with the New York Jets. But that's going to do it for us, folks. Again, shout out to Cal Bear for winning. That's going to be the Ps5 side for Wildcard round. Brian mentioned it earlier. We're going to be advancing here. So hopefully we get to see what the next matchups are. Appreciate everybody coming out and supporting us, viewing wherever you are viewing from. Make sure to hit that follow, that like, that subscribe button, and we will see you guys in the next round of action for Madden Underground playoffs. So on that note, my name is Black Phoenix, Philly Guy, Brian James, and the rest of the crew, and we will see you guys next time. Peace.